Be honest. How many times have you checked your phone today without even thinking about it? We joke about having brain rot, that restless itch when you can't focus on a movie, a book, or a conversation. This restless urge stems from a biological glitch. Your phone is hijacking a survival mechanism that took hundreds of thousands of years to build. You feel the symptoms as a physical restlessness, an inability to sit still. You see it in falling reading rates and a growing impatience with anything that takes time to absorb. Entire vocabularies are now built on fleeting viral memes and internet slang, transmitted in seconds. For younger demographics, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, this environment is all they've ever known. They are the first generations to have their baseline neural pathways molded from day one by the infinite high-speed feed of iPads and smartphones. What society casually brushes off as brain rot marks a significant shift in how we process information. We are observing a real-time change in the way the brain handles and values the data it receives. Back in the 1960s, a Canadian media theorist named Marshall McLuhan coined a phrase that captures our current reality perfectly. The medium is the message. His core argument was that the format of communication dictates how a society thinks more than the actual content we consume. The structure of the delivery itself is what shapes human thought. Apply that logic to the platforms we use today. When you swipe through vertical video feeds, 15-second clips, and auto-playing content, the brain receives a specific message. It should expect immediate, constant rewards at all times. While we may believe we are choosing our media, the algorithmic design dictates our cognitive patterns. This engineered medium is stripping away our natural capacity for focus and insight. To understand why this happens, we have to look at the original human operating system. For hundreds of thousands of years, the hunter-gatherer brain used dopamine to flag crucial survival cues. Spotting a predator or finding a bush full of edible berries triggered a chemical reward that said, "Pay attention to this." That basic brain architecture remains practically identical today. But starting around 2007, the smartphone revolution introduced a high-speed environment that outpaced our slow-evolving biology. Scientists refer to this collision as a cognitive evolutionary mismatch. Our environment changed with the adoption of mobile technology, while our biology still thinks we're foraging in the Pleistocene. Our neural circuitry cannot differentiate between a survival cue and a social app ping. Both trigger identical dopamine releases. Because digital rewards are unpredictable, we get caught in a loop. It acts like a slot machine, keeping the cycle active. When you struggle to put your device down, you are experiencing ancient survival hardware being overwhelmed by modern engineering. This diagram illustrates memory formation. When we focus deeply, the hippocampus consolidates new information into long-term storage. But when we interrupt ourselves to check a notification, the brain loses the opportunity to encode the memory. The structure shatters. To adapt to this fragmented state, the brain begins relying on just-in-time memory. Instead of internalizing knowledge, we outsource the work, treating search engines and social feeds like an external hard drive. Constant micro-distractions act as a physical barrier to learning. They stop the brain from building lasting knowledge, leaving our minds unable to retain what we see. In the modern attention economy, sustained focus is actual currency. Productivity and true innovation decline when we lose the ability to engage in deep, uninterrupted thought. But neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself, offers a path forward. Just as the brain adapted to crave distraction, it can physically rewire itself to sustain focus once again. The first method is progressive overload for your attention. You start with 5 minutes of focused reading, then scale up to 10, gradually building mental endurance like a muscle. The second method is environmental design. Your surroundings nudge your behavior. By putting your phone in another room or using website blockers, you add physical friction to accessing content, making focus the path of least resistance. The third method is rebalancing your dopamine baselines. This involves setting aside time to sit and intentionally do nothing stimulating. Boredom serves as the crucible for creative thought, and practicing it allows your chemical levels to stabilize. Curing brain rot requires creating intentional, often uncomfortable friction to restore the biological baseline that modern engineering has disrupted. The stakes are high. The global challenges we face today demand extended periods of critical thinking. They cannot be solved by a society trained to consume information in disjointed 15-second snippets. I have a challenge for you. When this video ends, do not click on another one immediately. Just sit quietly for 60 seconds. Let the information settle. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, paying attention to our environment is what kept us alive. Today, protecting our capacity for deep focus from the digital environment is what keeps us fundamentally human.